Hello Electroheads, Tish here, and on today's video I've got a really exciting video. This is the electrified Bentley Bentayga. Okay, it's not actually a Bentley, this is actually a Genesis. So what is Genesis? Well, Genesis is the premium brand of Hyundai, a little bit like Lexus is to Toyota, and they're getting ready to be fully electrified by 2025. Currently, there's 3 cars in the lineup. You've got the dedicated GV70, you've got the G80, and you've got this, which is the GV70 electrified. They have to put that bit on the end because it's actually based on the combustion car. But on paper, this looks pretty impressive. A range of up to 283 claimed miles. It can charge from 10 to 80% in just 18 minutes. It's got a ton of technology and it's quick as well. And on top of all of that, it's in a pretty practical SUV shape. So, is it good that it's based on a combustion car, or is that hindering this vehicle? Well, that's what I'm going to find out in today's video. So if that sounds good, then please keep watching. And if you like electric car news and electric mobility, then this is the place to be. Hit the subscribe button and join the Electroheads channel. In its electrified or non-electrified format, the GV70 is a pretty striking looking vehicle. You've got that massive front crisscross design grille, which the main difference you can tell that this is the electrified one is because this part is actually blanked off and it's got a more electric feel about it. But other than that, you'd probably be hard pressed to tell the difference between this and the petrol model. It really is a commanding car. It's one that definitely turns heads. Yes, okay, it might be a little bit of a Bentley ripoff, but is that really a bad thing when this costs nearly a quarter of the price of what you're going to pay for a Bentley? The GV70 electrified actually only comes in one specification, and that comes standard with 19-inch wheels. However, if you're really feeling fancy, you can upgrade to these 20-inch wheels. However, you are going to suffer a little bit of your range. We've just had a little bit of a giggle off of camera of me trying to work out why I don't quite like the rear design on this vehicle as much as the combustion one. And that's because, well, it's missing a couple of massive exhausts. And whilst I'm pleased that Genesis didn't try to replicate anything like an exhaust on an electrified vehicle, I would have preferred something to break up this rear colour because it just looks a little bit blocky. Now, space inside the Genesis GV70 is very, very good. The boot, which is released by this little button here, a bit like the Porsche Macan, has 503 litres. Now, that's actually only 37 litres less than the combustion car, so not a huge amount of difference. You can release the rear seats by some buttons inside of the boot or some levers inside of the boot. However, it is only a 60-40 split, which is a bit of a shame. And there isn't a ski hatch either, so that does reduce the practicality slightly. However, you do get a little bit of underfloor boot storage which will house your cables. If you're looking for the perfect electric car to chauffeur around your friends and family, then it doesn't get more comfortable than in the Genesis. These rear seats are actually able to be reclined, which is lovely. I've got rear climate control, I've got a couple of USB ports, and I can even move the front seats forward and backwards, which is just super helpful. If modern car design isn't quite for you and you want some old school luxury, then you're probably gonna love a Genesis, because it all feels very high quality. You've got lots of soft levers, or at least imitation levers, and there's a ton of buttons as well. It's really, really user friendly. Now, one of the main reasons that this kind of has a bit of a compromise being based on a combustion platform is the fact that you have a physical center console. So there's no extra storage parts like you do get in some of the dedicated cars like the Ioniq 5. However, again, if you like a conventional car, then this is going to feel really, really nice to you. Everything you touch just feels very high quality. All the buttons just feel really nice when you're twiddling around with the gear selector. Now, let's talk about that gear selector. Unfortunately, it doesn't get that fancy shiny globe that transforms in the GV60. However, it's still finished in quite a nice design, but you do need to be wary that it's just below the controls for your infotainment system. And so many times I've gone to change gear and actually change my radio station instead. The seats are a combination of a leather imitation and also kind of a denim. Now, I have a bit of an issue with these seats. Genesis, come on. Do you think that electric car owners want to have denim instead of really nice imitation leather? When I had the non-electrified version, it had kind of quilted red imitation leather, which felt really high quality. I'm not saying these seats don't feel high quality, but they just feel like a bit of a downgrade. Improving even further upon that luxury, the GV70 Electrified does an excellent job at suppressing wind and road noise. It does this by a laminated front windscreen and also laminated side windows. But this can be improved upon even further if you go for a second row comfort pack, which then also adds the laminated rear windows too. Plus, if you do go for the upgraded Lexicon sound system, you also get active noise cancelling technology, which is very fancy. This car also has quite a loud kind of noise that you get from the motor, that false noise that's put in to make you feel like you can kind of feel the car going faster when you put your foot down. And I really like it actually. At first I was a bit surprised because even on the motorway, when you pop your foot on the throttle, you will hear this car come to life, which is really quite rewarding in an EV. Now, this can be turned down if it's something that you don't like, but I've actually grown to quite love it. The maximum brake horsepower in this car is 490, which sounds like a lot. But you do have to be aware that 60 of that comes from this little boost button on the steering wheel. Now, this little boost button is really good fun. If you hit it, it gives you that instant power when the traffic isn't coming. Now, have I got instant power? Ah! It gives you that instant 490 brake horsepower in a burst. And it feels really, really impressive. This car is not only extremely comfortable to drive, it's also a lot of fun. And now I'm going to sit in traffic for the foreseeable future. Fabulous. The official WLTP claimed range from Genesis is 283 miles, or that does drop to 276 if you go for the larger 20-inch alloy wheels that I've got on this car. That makes it a match for something like the BMW iX3. However, of course, in current weather conditions, which are around -1, I'm seeing a real reduction on that kind of claimed range. Now, I've been doing everything you possibly shouldn't do in an electric car, and that's long journeys. I've been driving pretty fast or close to 70 miles per hour, and I've also been having all of my consumables on because it's been very cold. And I've been seeing a maximum of 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour on these long journeys, which really isn't great. And that puts the Genesis GV70 Electrified at more like 200 to 220 miles, which is a real shame. But it doesn't take away what is special about this car, and that is luxury. It really does feel so luxurious to drive. It's very well made, everything is very plushy and comfortable. It even gives you a massage after you've been driving for an hour, which is lovely. You've got nice things like wireless induction charging. I've also got adaptive cruise control, a great satellite navigation as well fitted to the car. It is all very nice, and I guess we kind of have to look at it as if, do you expect a Range Rover to get the same fuel economy as you get out of a Polo? No. So why are we expecting a large vehicle like this to get the same fuel economy or the same miles per kilowatt hour as something much smaller? But my problem is with the manufacturer's claimed range because it is so far off. However, I'd be really interested to see what I could get if I was to drive this car in the summer. And also, If I was only doing journeys around town, if I had an at-home wall box, I would be really, really happy with this car. And for those long journeys, yes, it is annoying you have to stop perhaps more than you would hope, but that 300 kilowatt hour charging means that this car can really be rapid charged very quickly. So I don't think it's too much of a stippler. The GV70 Electrified shares its same charging technology with those from the Hyundai brand. That means it gets the 800 volt technology. Meaning, if you find a charger like this, which is 350 kilowatts, you can go from 10% to 80% in just 18 minutes. It's undeniable that the electrified GV70 is a pricey purchase, starting from just under £65,000 before you've added any additional size wheels or any extra technology. But actually, all the fundamentals are top of their class. It gets a really decent range. You've got a ton of space and equipment as standard, and it's also got some really good charging speeds. And as far as combustion-based cars go, the compromises in this vehicle are very small. Do I think it's better than a GV60? Well, Genesis, you'll have to actually send me one to find out. But I really like this. I did like the combustion car, and I'm not surprised that that extra refinement that you get from an electric vehicle has elevated this even further. If you want that luxury that you expect from something like a Range Rover, then this could be the electric car for you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have liked this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you wanted to see more electric car reviews and mobility content, then hit that subscribe button. Until next time, bye.